Okay, I declare the meeting open at 6 p.m. Do we have a quorum yet? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have to wait until we have a quorum to start the meeting. I hope the other councillors hurry up and come in. 7. We don't have a quorum yet. We now have a quorum. So I declare the meeting open at 1 minute past 6. Good evening, councillors, staff and ladies and gentlemen. This meeting today is being held on Wajag Noongar Budja, and I'd like to acknowledge and pay my respects to elders past, present and future. I thank all past and present members of the community that have supported the city to better understand and value Noongar culture within the city of Wanneroo. I invite you to bow your head in prayer. Lord, we thank you for blessing our city, our community and our council. Guide us all in our decision-making to act fairly, without fear or favour, and with compassion, integrity, wisdom and honesty. May we show true leadership, be inclusive of all, and guide all of the city's people and many families to a prosperous future that all may share. We ask this in your name. Amen. Please note that the audio-visual proceedings of tonight's meeting will be live broadcast online with the exception of matters discussed behind closed doors. The broadcast of the proceedings of the meeting can be accessed live and on demand through the City of Wanneroo YouTube channel. Item attendees. We don't have any electronic attendees. I do know that Councillor Bedworth is on his way and Councillor Figg is an apology, and Councillor, I'm not sure where Councillor Coetzee, she should be on her way as well, shouldn't she? So that's fine. And congratulations to Councillor Moore and her husband on the safe delivery of twins on Friday. So I just wanted to put that on the record. New requests for a leave of absence, we have none. Public questions and statement time. We have no one here from the public to ask questions, so therefore we'll go to the next item on the agenda. Declarations of interest by council members, including the nature and extent of which the interest, are to be made at the commencement of the item to which the interest relates. Declarations of interest forms are to be completed and handed to the Chief Executive Officer. Do you have a request for a change of order, Councillor Nguyen? Do you have a seconder for your procedural motion?
I don't have a seconder yet, but happy for anyone to second it. Thank you very much.
What is your procedural motion?
Procedural motion is to move item 5 to the first item on the reports, please.
Councillors, could you please cast your vote to move... wait a minute. It's not item 5.
To the top item.
Yes, Councillor Seif, I'm just checking something.
Moving it to
employees item number. So it's items SCR010226, staff matter, appointment of designated senior employee. And can we cast our vote? We have a mover and seconder to do a procedural motion to move that forward on the agenda, councillors. Yeah. Are we able to use a show of hands? Okay, we're going to use a show of hands to go behind closed doors. So council is supportive of the Oh, here we go. The procedural motion's come up. Yes, I know. We're waiting for it to come up. Let's just do a show of hands to bring the... So can we show of hands, please? So the procedural motion to move it forward has been supported by all of the councillors except for Councillor Rowe and Councillor Wright. So I take that the procedural motion is taken. And can I have everyone to leave the chambers except...
You need a motion first to close the chambers.
Yes, that's the motion to close the chambers.
You don't need to kick them out first because you haven't moved the motion yet to close the chambers.
We just did.
You didn't. You did the order of them.
Point of clarification, Mayor Aitken.
Yeah.
That procedural motion was for a change of the agenda. You'd now need
Sorry.
to seek a procedural to close the
Yes,
doors.
that's correct. So can we do the procedural motion to close the chamber? Moved by Councillor Rowe, seconded Councillor Berry, and all those in favour?
Yeah, I think it's available for you now. Is it?
No, it's not. It's still procedural motion 1.
So hands up.
Hands up for going behind closed doors. 1.
Yes. Hands up. Against.
Against? Those against? I'll let you do that. I'm sorry, everybody in the gallery, but we're going to do a 5-minute break so that our councillors can relieve themselves. Thank you. And you'll need to be back at 19:37.
I did.
Thank you, councillors. We are now back on air and we go to SP 010226. And, sorry, we'll go back to the previous item we were behind closed doors with, which is SCRO 10226, staff matter, appointment of designated senior employee. The recommendation is that council supported to adopt option 1 as outlined in the confidential report. There were 8 councillors that supported option 1 and 5 councillors against. The councillors that supported this item was myself, Councillor Wright, Councillor Coetzee, Councillor C, Councillor Huntley, Deputy Mayor Miles, Councillor Bedworth and Councillor Smith. Those against were Councillor Rowe, Councillor Vin Nguyen, Councillor Helen Berry, Councillor Glenys Parker and Councillor Hugh Nguyen. We now go to item SCP 010226, Alkimos Aquatic and Recreation Centre tender report. Should there be any discussion required for the confidential attachment, members of the public are to exit the chamber and the chamber doors must be closed and we will be go off air. Do I have a mover and seconder for this item? Moved Councillor Rowe, seconded Councillor Wright. Okay, just want to clarify that we are moving the recommendation from the updated memo. You all have a copy of it on your desk. And the recommendation is 1, that Council 1 accepts the tender submitted by Bluefit Proprietary Limited for tender number 25140 for the operator Alkimos and Recreation Centre at an estimated contract sum of, as per confidential attachment 1 over the 5-year period, and authorises administration to release the information contained in the confidential attachment 1 via the city's website after a formal letter of tender award is issued to the successful tenderer as per item 1 above. Councillors, are you clear on what the recommendation is? And Councillor Rowe and Councillor Wright, are you still happy to move and second it with the recommendation worded in that fashion? Thank you. Councillor Rowe, would you like to speak to this item?
Thank you, Mayor. I will be brief just to acknowledge that this has been an unprecedented process that the city has undertaken. It has been comprehensive, it has been robust, it has been overseen and certified by a probity process to ensure that the decision we arrive at tonight is the most legitimate one that we could possibly arrive at. I think Council's decision to test the market to provide that quality assurance was a good one in hindsight. I acknowledge every entity out there that showed an interest in wanting to manage this facility, which will be, once opened, one of the premier aquatic and recreation facilities in the entire metropolitan Perth. So I just want to thank everyone who was involved in this process, particularly those who were involved to provide it with the transparency and the legitimacy that it needed and that it has achieved in order for Council to make an informed, complete decision this evening. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Rowe. I'm sorry that I was a little bit distracted, so part of your speech. But
Said many good things, Mayor.
Councillor Wright, would you like to speak to this item?
Thank you, Mayor, and also many good things to add. I was really impressed with the report and the process that was undertaken by the city, and I think it's a really good example when process works well. And I thank Patch Group and Paxson for spending a lot of time with Council in taking us through what the process would look like in the briefing, and I think it was a really helpful process to understand not only major tenders and going through a process like this, which from my understanding is probably a first in local government for this size and facility. It was very impressive to see the city turn around and focus on splitting the teams into 2 to have a bid team and assessment team, and I think that was really impressive to see that there was no issues that were picked up. Everything was followed to a T, and I know that it was extremely challenging for council to know who to go to and who to speak to, but I think we were in pretty good hands through our advisors through that process. So I just want to thank you for that. In terms of the actual bids, I was quite impressed with the chosen tenderer, Bluefit, and in what's been provided in the public agenda report, and in particularly that it was a overall good value for money assessment. So I'm quite happy that we went through this process, and I know some councillors were reluctant at first to head down this pathway because we didn't know what we were going to get. But I think it provides a really good overview that WA is competitive in this space, and we've had some really good responses. So I thank everyone for participating in the process, and I think we've made the right decision tonight to be able to get a positive result that's actually going to deliver for our community and also deliver for our sustainability and long-term success. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Wright. Do I have any speakers against this item? If there are no speakers against this item, I think we should just put it to the vote. So, councillors, we will vote on this item. Is the voting working, or is it a show of hands again? Okay, councillors, please show your hands if you support this item. And it's supported unanimously. We've had 2 of our councillors leave, so we're down to 11 councillors, so that's supported unanimously. We now go to item SCP0226, facility use arrangements for the Alkimos Aquatic and Recreation Centre. And I would just like to declare an impartiality with regard to item SCP0226, the facility use arrangements for the Alkimos and Aquatic Recreation Centre. I disclose that I am a member of the Wanneroo Basketball Association so that I can attend their basketball games. As a consequence, there may be a perception that my impartiality on the matter may be affected. I declare that I will consider this matter on its merits and vote accordingly. Do I have a mover and seconder for this item, councillors? Deputy Mayor Miles moves. And a seconder, please. Councillor Seif. Deputy Mayor Miles, would you like to speak to this item?
Just briefly, thank you, Mayor, and I do want to obviously thank the administration for putting the work together to make sure that all the tenderers were actually given the information with regard to the Wanneroo Basketball Association's requirements that we have agreed to already. And I understand that all the tenderers were happy to make that as part of their tender process. And just thank the administration staff for putting this tender together as well, or not this tender, but this agreement together to make sure it aligns appropriately with the opening of the Arc later this year. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Seif, would you like to speak to this item? Are there any speakers against this item? We have a question from Councillor Wright.
Thank you, Mayor. I just had one question on page 15, which raised a little bit of red flags around the sponsorship side of things. At the bottom of page 15, it had the city must not, without the WBA's consent, enter into any third-party signage, naming rights or sponsorship agreements for the indoor sports court where such third-party signage, naming rights or sponsorship conflicts with the WBA's existing sponsorship arrangements. I'm concerned if the city did want to go down an avenue in the future of diversifying our revenue to obviously allowing corporate sponsors, etc. And with a facility of this size, if the Wanneroo Basketball Association objected to that, then the city would have no avenue to be able to go down that avenue because that clause is quite broad. So I'm just concerned that we are ruling out. I know they have their own signage agreements, which they have at their current venue now. obviously I don't know, I haven't been inside the Arc, but I know that the courts is quite a large space and it does cross over into a few different areas where if we did want to go down and name the Arc something else, or we wanted to have a third-party sponsor, whatever it was, to bring in revenue, we would then have to start consulting with tenants within the building because we have clauses like this which would rule out. So I'm just wanting to clear from a legal perspective that that's actually been checked, verified. If we do want to go down, that council still has an avenue in the future if it does, and it doesn't rule us out totally.
Mr Greer or Ms Davis? Mr Greer?
Thank you, Mayor, and thank you, Councillor, for the question. The drafting, as is currently under negotiation, refers to it as not unreasonably withholding the consent. So if it's something that's a broader category, that isn't a direct clash, there's still a lot of flexibility. And I guess looking at when administration reviewed it, the types of sponsorship that the WBA has were not seen as likely to be areas the city would be branching into as well. So it wasn't seen as being a constraint that would present problems in that respect, albeit if there was anything, it would then not be unreasonably withheld. So it wouldn't be an absolute veto, it would be qualified.
Thank you. You have another question, Councillor Wright?
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. And just on page 16, there's reference to a stakeholder reference group. I just want to check, is that for internal administration to sit with Bluefit and tenants within that centre? Is it a councillor reference group? Is it a community reference group? And what's the avenues for council to, if it's not performing up to scratch, what's our avenue to be able to contribute to that conversation?
Ms Davis?
Thank you for your question, Councillor. And through the Mayor, the intention of that reference group is to be just the stakeholders within the centre. It would tie the two stakeholders together from the previous report to this current report. And I believe the second part of your question was around council's opportunity for oversight, and that comes through the reporting mechanisms that are ordinarily quarterly and annually.
Thank you. Another question? Okay, Councillor Smith had a question, I think, and then I'll go to Councillor Bedworth.
Thank you. At present, the WA is based out of Joondalup, I think, Arena, from memory, and they use venues across the city of Joondalup and Wanneroo. I'm just wondering, do we know what percentage of the membership actually falls between the different cities?
Ms Davis?
Thank you for that very detailed question. We did have some discussion around that. I do have the manager of operations, Mr Webb, who might be able to give you a response to that.
Mr Webb?
Thank you, Mayor Aitken. Unfortunately, no, we do not have that level of data available.
Thank you. Do you have another question, Councillor Smith?
Thank you. On page 13, the proposed hours of usage was reduced from what was originally indicated in the original WA business proposal. I can't remember from the original business proposal, but ballpark, do we know how much it was reduced? Thanks.
Ms Davis?
Thank you for the question. I believe it was from 5 exclusive days and extended hours to the 3 days during the week and the Saturday from 8 till 5.
Thank you. Councillor Bedworth, you had a question?
I just got two, if that's all right, Mayor. If I can go with a legal one first. The report notes that legal documents remained under negotiation and not yet agreed in principle. What clauses remain unresolved, and why are we being asked to basically give approval to something that's not yet resolved?
Just quickly, because it's contract negotiations, do we need to go behind closed doors? Just clarifying.
I'd be very happy with just a general explanation. It doesn't need to detail
just a
any
high-level
sensitive
explanation
matters.
then. Okay, thank you. Ms Davis.
Thank you, Councillor. Through the Mayor, the contract negotiations so far between the city and the proponent have so far been complimentary for both sides, and it's mostly just about the final signing.
And your second question, Councillor Bedworth?
Thank you for that. And my next one's just around the KPIs regarding 2,000 to 2,500 junior players. And it says that they need access to 25 courts, yet the report states that the ARC can only support 900 juniors, which seems quite a disparity. So could we just get a little bit of explanation around that, please?
Ms Davis.
Thank you, Mayor and Councillor. And due to the technical nature of your question, I'll defer to Mr Webb, please.
Mr Webb.
Thank you, Mayor Aitken. Yes, it consists of other local smaller facilities as well, so not just utilised at ARC, but also local schools, local community and recreation centres as well, so sites with just one single basketball court as training venues. Thank you.
Councillor Smith, you have another question?
Thank you. My question is to do with page 20 and the initial community engagement phase for the ARC as well. So I think this proposal with WBA came about because they were talking about their long-term growth strategy and things like their needs. When we're talking about the comments about netball and some of the other sports, did we, once we knew that there was general broad growth happening in soccer or football and some of those areas, did we go back to them and have deeper conversations about what their future strategy or growth projected is as well to help understand at a deeper level their need in the future?
Can I just say the needs for netball and soccer are different to what this facility provide. We're really talking about this item. I'll hand over to Ms Davis to respond, but we really need to keep the questions on the item we've got in front of us. Ms Davis?
Thank you for that clarification, Mayor, and the question, Councillor. And within that parameters, potentially if there were indoor soccer and indoor hockey, etc., those considerations were part of the contract development and negotiation on behalf of the city, considering the community needs in the Northern Corridor for this facility.
Thank you. Any other questions? Any speakers against? If there are no speakers against, councillors, I'm going to ask you to cast your vote on the recommendation by a show of hands, and I'm going to read the recommendation out. So the recommendation is just that and not this. Oh, sorry. Okay. The recommendation is item 1 approves the lease and licence on part of the Alkimos Aquatic Recreation Centre, Coomul Drive, Alkimos, to the Wanneroo Basketball Association Inc. for a term of 7 years, together with 2 option terms of 7 years in each case, in accordance with the essential terms described in the administration report and incorporating nominated key performance indicators. 2, authorises A, the Chief Executive Officer or a nominee of the Chief Executive Officer to negotiate terms, execute all documentation and comply with all applicable legislation as is required to effect item 1 above, subject also to the consent from the Minister for Lands as required under section 18 of the Land Administration Act 1997 WA, and B, the affixing of the common seal of the City of Wanneroo to the lease and licence in accordance with the City's execution of documents policy. 3, endorses the City of Wanneroo and the Wanneroo Basketball Association Inc. collaborating to A, implement a dedicated Western Australian Basketball League program at junior and senior level operating from the Alkimos Aquatic and Recreation Centre with a distinct Alkimos identity, and B, develop a business case and submission to Basketball WA for the establishment of an NBL 1 WA franchise for Alkimos and the surrounding locality. Councillors, could you please cast your vote by raising your hands? Thank you. Everyone in support first. And that was carried unanimously. Thank you, councillors, for that. Okay, item 6 to be tabled, there is nil. Item 7, date of the next meeting. The next council members' agenda briefing has been scheduled for 6 p.m. on the 10th of February 2026 to be held at Council Chamber, Civic Drive, 23 Dundebar Road, Wanneroo. Item 8, closure. Thank you everyone for your attendance, and I now declare the special council meeting closed at 19:57.